fly. Think I can fly when I'm with you. My arms are wide, catching fire as the wind blows. I know that I'm rich enough for pride. I see $1 billion in your eyes. Even if we're strangers till we die.
You will ugly piece of.
Good to see you. Good to be back.
Hello and welcome to the 2016 Sandlot season preview video. I'm Tom Kuiper Jr.
And I'm Neil McShay, and we're back. Looking forward to another big year in Sandlot.
So what we're going to do in this video is go over the off season and talk about what we're looking for from every player in the upcoming season. And we're going to start with Arnav Velaparth.
Now, our last show took place before the Brown Saturday game, where Arnav famously called MVP for the game. He started off the game well, performing well on the field, but his production just fell as the game wore on. And afterwards, it was only downhill for Mr. Velaparth. He was involved in many sexual harassment charges and was charged in both the state of New York and Connecticut, and he caused major rifts within the group throughout the offseason.
Another big problem for Arnav is he's taking 5 AP classes, which is usual for an Indian person, but it hurt his production in the group chat, and he often had to leave to finish his mounds of homework.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
That really hurt his place in the league. Now we move on to another person who often has to leave the chat. You may know him for his famous quote, "Add me back later." Spencer Kenyon, aka Poopy Face, Tomato Nose. Spencer Kenyon's having a rough off season, lots of homework, lots of just being Spencer problems, so he often has to leave the chat, and that really makes us hate him sometimes. Neil?
In other news, Mr. Kenyon appealed his lifetime ban to the Sandlot Hall of Fame, but was famously denied after further secret meetings with Pete Rose were found, and only added to his troubles with gambling on games.
All these haters, see you later.
Truly a troubled child. Now we move on to a third player in Sandlot who really kind of sucks in the chat, Brendan Kennedy, also known as BK. Sometimes we think he's actually passed away because of his lack of texting in the chat.
We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
He started his first year at UNH. He's going there for free, which is good for him, but sucks because he lives at home.
Also, still more boring.
Still more boring. Very boring. UNH is a boring place. His soul has been damaged this offseason after a troubling incident where a fellow Sandlot member, Thomas Holly, backed into his front license plate and kind of destroyed it. Neil?
On the field, BK brings forward a skill set that is once again sure to not sell tickets, involving many ground ball singles and diving plays that he really should have made an easier play on. The next poor member of Sandlot is Mr. Thomas Holly. He didn't have a good offseason, and when I say not good, I mean suicidal for at least a good portion of it. He repeatedly had his hopes crushed and dreams shattered throughout this offseason, as a certain Mr. Wallinger, just really ruined his day again and again.
All I want is nothing more to hear you knocking at my door.
And his side job, hockey, his side job to Sandlot, of course, didn't really pan out as planned totally, and it's just been a tough time away from home for a certain Mr. Holly. But he looks to return and to be our top bat flipper again and be a good righty bat. Any words from you, Mr. Kuiper? So up next is Mr. Connor Fountain. He's had a just awful offseason. But he's looking to come back strong this season and retain that Gold Glove that he won last year for hopping over the walls. And yeah, I hope he can break out of his depression and perform well this season. Tom?
Yeah, he's got a good average, you know, but the real concern is his loneliness. You know, personal experience, I was dumped last week, and I'm still less lonely than Connor. I don't think he's interacted with another person since he's gone to Maryland, and that really concerns me for the upcoming season.
The next player up is Mr. Billy McKinley. I expect little to no production from this player this year, as he did not homer in the entire regular season, which is mind-blowing. I mean, look at this field. And but his Puig-like arm keeps him on the team. He can fire that thing from right field down to home plate right here, and that's going to keep him on the roster. Tom?
Billy's truly an exciting player. He'll look to jazz up crowds of less than 3 people this year. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how Billy performs in his first Sandlot action since losing his V card. That's always something to look forward to.
Of course. Next up is Mr. Arthur Jacob Wallinger. Kid's got a long swing, but he hits it for decent power, surprising power. But his defense is a total liability out there. He muffed 3 balls in the Brown Saturday game to essentially lose his team the game, and he's just a defensive liability out there. You can't trust him. Any words from you, Tom?
Eyebrows, Jake.
Yeah, Evan's like okay.
Yeah, I like Evan now.
Yeah, I mean,
did you do you, Jake?
No, I didn't do it. But
whatever.
All right, just go.
Yeah, he went off, so it's all right.
Yeah, no, Evan's cool. All right, go.
So up next is Mr. Evan Sikolik, the goofball of the league, the clumsiest of all of us, and you know but he hits for decent power. He got some bat flips that have almost killed him a few times. Snapshots that have also gotten him almost killed. And I'm sure you have a few words, Mr. Kuiper.
Honestly, I've had a good off-season with Evan. He hasn't bothered me that much. You know, he's just kind of accepted my punches and rolled with them. And, you know, it's fun to watch Chell beat the crap out of him.
Of course.
It's always fun. Good for you, Evan. Good for you.
Ding dang, digga bring it down. First thing that I say after I wake up.
Now we move on to 2015 Sandlot MVP Ryan Mostoller. One of the best players in the league. Some people even have him ahead of Dom. I personally don't, but he's a very good player, very hot player.
Man crush.
Man crush, yes. He concerns us with his off-the-field antics, Johnny Manziel-esque party styles, and, you know, just a rambunctious off-season.
He scared us all greatly this offseason. He gave us a retirement scare. He left the chat. He said he was never coming back. Thankfully, he's back now where he belongs, and we hope he can play some baseball again with us.
Now we move on to the other Ryan in the chat, Ryan Novia.
Nov Daddy.
Vape God. The vape life is pretty much all Ryan cares about. He's pretty much a vapor till he dies, you know. That's Look,
now my vape, she a monster. Blowing more clouds out her mouth than a roster. Your vape.
But you know, he's kind of average on the field. Neil?
Still hasn't lost a game. He won on Brown Saturday.
That's mind-boggling.
So that is truly mind-boggling. And he's got that sexy lefty swing that we're all interested to see again.
Now we move on to the sexiest man in Sandlot, Neil, the real deal, Delestrito. His six-pack abs will kill the ladies this season.
You know you've got that thing that makes the girls all swing.
But you know, his average play on the field kind of sucks. He struck out once last year. He messes with his swing a lot. It's eh. His throwing arms eh. His fielding is eh. But I would have his children. Neil.
Mr. McShay disagrees with nothing that you just said. Thank you. Now we move on to Mr. Howard James Sparks IV. He's had an annoying offseason at Curry College. His college friends are quite obnoxious, and as is he with them.
Other than you, Grant. We love you, Grant.
Yeah, love you, Grant.
Yeah, how we
Love you, Grant.
That's nice.
And Jen, if you're watching too.
Oh, Jen's nice boobs. But yeah,
You gotta say that again.
Sorry, Howie, College Howie, or James kind of sucks, you know.
This is why you suck. This is why you suck. This is why you suck. This is why you suck.
You know, being dumped by sucked, but not as much as dealing with College Howie. Also, he sucks at baseball.
Me. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, And up next is Drew Feinberg, who comes into this season hungry after losing the MVP in a close race with Mr. Ryan Mousler. He brings a smooth lefty stroke to the league that is rarely seen otherwise.
Drew had a very good offseason with the women, which is maybe surprising considering the fact he has kissed another man. Drew, guy, and he liked his. But you know, he looks to carry on that success during the season and, you know, through the rest of his life. Jewish.
Next up is the biggest power bat in the league, Mr. Eric Corcoran,
Also the biggest man in the league.
who spent his first season away from home at Indiana University.
It's only right that we be fair. Psycho, I'm liable to go Michael. Take your pick. Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6. Fall so hard.
And I hope he's doing okay. I feel for him. I
Go
really do.
blue. Go blue. I also fear about his mental state because he makes a lot of rape jokes towards a female member of Sandlot, who shall remain nameless. And that's kind of concerning because he could probably overpower her, and that scares me. We'll talk about Cork on the field now. Really a good hitter. His pop is more surprising than being dumped by one.
And they're further out left field too.
Neil.
I got nothing. That's pretty rough.
Now we move on to the second biggest player in Sandlot, James Giusti. And for not so breaking news, the kid is in fact still gross. Neil?
But what James Giusti doesn't bring to the table looks-wise, he brings to the table as a great teammate. You know, he's gonna give 110%. But I don't expect much from him in the field, as his body shape resembles that of a potato. Any other words from you, Tom?
His offseason was interesting in the P-Rec League, as the hoop mixtapes really brought up his popularity, and he was still hitting threes on and off the court. Now we move on to the first lady of Sandlot, Rachel Chell Esposito. She's really been a great addition to the chat and the league, mostly because we all love it. Neil?
On another note, her and another Sandlot member, Mr. Evan Sikolik, have serious beef that rivals the likes of Ali Frazier, France Britton, Tupac Biggie, and just about any other major rivalry that you can imagine.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
But Evan just kind of crawls and hides after it's all over. Jensen Bassett, there's nothing more you can say. He hits 400 average, hits bombs, 4.0 GPA, great kid. There's not much you can really say, but
So keep your love locked down, your love locked down.
I'm sure he'll think of something.
Jensen, you know, the most surprising aspect of his game is his speed, and you know, he really runs those bases faster than ran out of my life.
Up last is Dom Shamilla, the GOAT.
I am the greatest.
The best. We worship Dom. He's the best. Brown Saturday, MVP, Dom Shamilla. He's got all the tools. He's the best player in the league. There's not much more you can say.
However, his offseason has been spotty and poor, to say the least. Started hanging out with a rough crowd, not one we like to see him with, and we'll certainly try and talk him out of any further adventures with those scandalous people. So that was the 2016 season preview. Thank you all for watching. I think we had fun, and we're looking forward to the season. Neil?
Look forward to seeing you all not in the stands, but in our hearts.
For the firemen.
Thank you.